yeah, they definitely let you know if you are neglecting
Yeah,
your
yeah. If you're a
your
lazy
duty, I
cunt.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it, man. I've been following you a
Yeah,
long
man, I'm
time.
hyped to be here. Right, right on. Yeah, it's been cool like thinking about doing this. I've never been on a podcast or whatever before, so yeah.
Yeah, man. No, it's good to have you on. I love your bike, man. I love the Ironhead. It's sick.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. That's been a that bike has been crazy for me. Um like I built it in 17 and it's just been like one hell of a journey for sure.
Yeah.
I lost it for a while and got it back and yeah.
How? What happened there?
Well, so in 17 I built it. It's a basic Paco frame and it had a 79 engine that was like I bought it sight unseen uh from a tattoo artist that I go to. So he is like, yeah, I've got this Ironhead engine kicking it around in my basement. And then at one point it was in the back of the tattoo shop. So I'm like,
Sick.
bet, dude, let me buy that. So I got this engine for like $200 in a stock loop. Um, and then
For how much?
bought originally $200.
Holy shit. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sick.
so, no title or anything, just this
Yeah.
engine, no carburetor on it or anything. So I scoop it up off him. And then originally I had like a 6 over wide glide DNA front end on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, like they get a bad rep, but I rode the crap out of it
Yeah,
and never
man.
had an issue. Um, so fast forward like a year after I build it, and I rode that bike with that engine that I bought off of him, with just putting the ignition in it, oil, that sort of thing, timing, and adjusting the valves. I rode that engine straight to South Carolina on a 4 day weekend from here.
Holy shit.
Like, yeah, I mean, and that engine went everywhere. And it's actually under the bench right now. It dropped a cam bushing, so I put an 80 engine in it
Yeah.
last or two summers ago. So that was in 17. I built it. 18ish was still riding it, and then in 2019, um, back then I was drinking heavy and
Yeah.
I was acting out and so I was drunk and crashed it
Shit.
and I wasn't yeah, and I have the front end back there too. It's folded
Fuck.
up. Um, so I wasn't carrying insurance on it at the time either. So because like why would I guess
Yeah.
if I was like busy I was busy screwing my whole life up. Um so I lost it to the impound lot. And
Shit.
I was going through a divorce at the time, and I ended up just keeping the title. It wasn't in my name still; it was in my ex-wife's name. So I just had the title in my, like in my safe or whatever, like my space. And a couple of years go by where I don't have this bike, and this guy randomly hit me up on Instagram and sent me a picture of it sitting on the side of the road with a
Sick.
for sale sign on it. And it was
Shit.
like an hour, yeah, it was like an hour and a half away from me.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Isn't this your bike? Somebody wrecked it." Because when I wrecked it, it was just gone, and no one knew.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that portion of my life was like really under wraps at the time. So um, no one really knew. And I had another chopper, a Kawasaki 750,
Right.
on a long springer and stuff too. So I just like switched over to riding that bike and
Yeah.
then dealt with losing the Ironhead. So I'm like immediately, I was like, bet, dude, where is it? How much? What do I
Yeah.
need to do to get it back? And he's like, it's $1,000, the guy says. And he's like, I know the guy and I can talk to him. So I ended up storing the bike for 750 and I
Shit.
gave him, yeah.
That's
So I
cool.
gave him, I had like $900 to my name at the time.
Yeah.
So the very next morning, my buddy Charlie, um, I was on house arrest at the time, So my buddy Charlie like drove down to the other town and like scooped up my bike. And all of this, it was crazy because by the time I got it back, I was sober and I had like done a bunch of work to like fix some things that I had done in my life. And I gave up drinking. And it was on the 3 year anniversary of when, like, the first day that I fired this bike up,
That's sick.
that dude hit me up. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
wild.
man.
And so then the next day I had it in my possession again. And this dude, Wild Bill, he's like an OG Wild Bill
Yeah,
around
yeah.
here. He had this Springer, and I traded him a really short Dick Allen Springer that I had.
Sick.
And I traded him for the one that's on here. So yeah, I got it. I got it back, and I felt like it was very much like I was fucking off, you know.
Yeah.
So there was like reasons why I didn't deserve to have the bike.
Yeah,
And
man.
then when I felt like I straightened things up, then it's like it fell into my lap.
Yeah, that's sick.
So
I love it
been one
when
of
things
those,
like that work out.
yeah, and it was a lot of coincidences around having that bike.
So
anymore, man,
did you do all the work on that bike? So when you say you built it, did you do everything or?
yeah. So basically, it's an engine and frame. The frame I bought from Paco.
Yeah.
So I just like, it's an S120. I picked the up and out and the length in the back, that sort of thing, real basic.
Yeah.
And then I just put it together. I made the sissy bar from just raw pieces of steel and bent them up and welded them together. And it's had 3 different fenders, two or three different seats, dozens of headlights and handlebars and that sort of thing. But yeah,
it's never
I did
finished.
all the work. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I've got handlebars over there I want to put on it.
Yeah.
I just put this 17-inch spool wheel on the front where I've been running a 21.
Yeah.
So I just got that last week. So
what's the main differences? Cool. Any like main differences you feel between them, or do you think they're just a little better?
Yeah, I just did it for the looks, really.
Yeah.
I don't run a front brake, and that 21 was a disc brake hub.
Yeah.
So it had all the stuff on it and a real big hub. And that like small front wheel on a long Springer to me is very period with this bike. So,
yeah, man. I fucking love the tassels.
Oh yeah.
Like the photos I see, I want fucking tassels on my bike, man.
Dude, it is bananas how much hate I get for those. And
yeah, I bet.
It's wild. You get a video on, of course it's out on social media and it's just like out in the ether, but tons of people are just like, bro, those tassels wouldn't last 5 minutes. I'd tear them off. I'm like, man, honestly, they are so light. They're not that thick of leather.
Yeah,
You barely even notice them. But
I fucking love them. They look great in a photo.
Cool. Yeah, I think it ties it up pretty cool, and not very many people are using them these days. So I just said fuck it and left them.
Yeah, man. No, I fucking love it. I think it looks great. So when you were like, you said you were fucking up, and I've recently just gone sober myself.
Oh yeah.
Because man, I know how it is. The fucking the week long hangover of just like I don't know what you call it there, but we call it beer fear here, where you're just like, fuck, what did I do? And every time you hear like a police car or anything, you're like, oh, are they coming for me?
Yeah. I went so a long time ago, like in 2007, I was locked up for almost 3 years. And then got out and like straightened up. But that was
sorry. How old are you?
34.
Oh, yeah, fuck! You look younger.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So in 2007, I was locked up until 2010, and and then I got out and I was good for a while, but none of that was related to like drinking or anything. And then I got into drinking, and basically from like early 18, 2017, 2018, 19, and I was just like binge drinking and I was getting in trouble. I was getting DUIs. I was getting, freaking domestic or disorderly conducts and
Yeah.
like just all kinds of shit. And it wasn't good for me, and it wasn't good for my longevity. I've got kids. I've got, people looking up to me and people that I've, have a responsibility towards. So it was, it was tough to see myself going down that path, and then
Yeah,
also
man.
like, knowing that that's what you're doing and not fixing it. So it just came to a head where I was like, this is what I got to do. And yeah, so I'm still sort of recovering my
Yeah, man.
life in ways. Um, Even though like in May, on May 5th, I'll be 4 years sober.
Yeah, man.
So,
I know exactly what you're
yeah,
saying with the kids thing as well. Like this might sound really stupid, but for me it was a fucking Instagram reel. It was like, the fucking, I think we follow a lot of the same like bodybuilding kind of like fucking pages. I've seen you like a lot of
yeah.
stuff that I like. And I can't remember who it was. It might have been fucking oh, what's his name? The big fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, Willock. Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Jocko.
Yeah, that's it, Jocko. And I think it was him, and he was like, "You don't want to be that fucking hungover fat slob like in the morning
Yeah,
when you're fucking kids. You want to be that fucking. I've already trained. My meals are ready. I'm fucking ready for it." And I was like, "Shit, yeah, man. I am that fat
they want,
hungover guy in
yeah,
front of my kids." Yeah,
right. And you want them to look up to you and say like, "That's my dad," not
yeah,
like, "Damn, that's my dad." Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, man.
So it was like that for me too. And I was very prideful about my drinking. I was very much like, I'm a man, I'm an adult, I can do this, I can do whatever I want. Like, and I was putting away all of those other things where I should have just been like paying attention to the stuff that mattered.
Yeah,
So,
man. Yeah, it's hard though, especially I don't know what it's like for you, but like I have a lot of friends and that they all drink a lot. They all fucking party, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So like when I'm with my family, I'm cool. But then as soon as I get with the boys, that's it. Then I see them all having a good time, and then that was it. It was a whole
yeah,
weekend of just crazy shit.
yeah, yeah. And for me, it was very similar too. Like my all my homeboys were partying, and the girls I was dating and all that stuff, that I was like just putting myself in those situations.
Yeah.
And then man, I'll be honest, I've got like this group of friends here that, I mean, we call them the Muncie crew
Yeah.
here because they're all from Muncie, but they live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they I would go drink with them, or like, we would be a part of that. Uh and it was crazy when I told them like, hey, I gotta change, and I'm gonna put that stuff away. There was never, I anticipated that moment so much that I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
for sure they were going to be like, dude, you're a bummer. Like, here's a
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they immediately, I would show up and they would have like, they'd be like, Bill, it's cool, man. We got this and this over here,
Yeah.
like
Sick.
non-alcoholic options for you, and
Yeah,
help
man.
me up for that. And it was cool. So a lot of that, even though like I'm not hanging with them every single day all the time or
Yeah.
around them a bunch. That stuff made such a huge difference in my own road to recovery.
Yeah, definitely.
With like you were saying with Jocko, and like in physical fitness, I remember being like outcasted
Yeah.
in certain ways, or feeling outcasted for being like into fitness but into choppers too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like
I've
real,
actually seen it. I've seen it on your Instagram where people have
yeah. And I'm
like,
like,
yeah,
yeah. And anymore, I'm seeing those like, there's those key chopper guys that you on Instagram, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's the dude, and he's got he's got all the hype and all the shit. And there's like a couple of those dudes that are out in them, or putting it out there that they're also paying attention to their physicality and like trying to
Yeah,
be
man.
healthier and trying to move forward in the world. And
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I seen him recently just talking about like the longevity, like saying he had to start training, otherwise he wasn't going to be able to ride hardtail chops for much longer. Like it's
yeah,
because it fucking takes out of you. It's
yeah,
fucking
for sure.
it's hard work. Like you can't.
Yeah,
It's well, I'm not going to say you can't, but it's hard to be fat and ride. Like I know, like it's fucking. But I mean, you're in like crazy shape as well. I've like I feel like this last like 6 months, 9 months, you've
yeah,
took your physique is totally changed.
yeah. I've been so me and my girlfriend have been together for coming up on 2 years, and basically like since we got together for the first year or so, we were still trying to get a place and get settled and find a routine and stuff. But for definitely for the last year, I've tightened up like my diet, my training, just like my overall awareness of health. And being sober is one thing, but something that I say is almost more. It's not more rewarding because I know what I was doing to my life with alcohol, but something that I think I take a little bit of pride in is being sober, so to speak, from energy drinks.
Yeah, man.
Because like when I quit drinking, I mean, I was drinking them already, but then
Yeah,
when I quit drinking, I was hammering them all the time,
yeah,
and like would feel like hammered dog shit
yeah,
after a
yeah,
day of drinking. So I've been without those for like around a year and a half, and it's been crazy. And so tightening up my diet for the last year, being on, paying attention to the amount of caffeine that I'm taking in, and drinking lots of water, and training hard. It's made a huge difference for me physically.
yeah, man. I think like caffeine, like energy drinks and stuff like that, like they fuck you up mentally, but they fuck me up mentally
Yeah.
anyway. That I'm like fucking because I'm not really an anxious kind of guy, but if I have too many fucking Red Bulls or Monsters or anything like that, then I feel anxious, and I'll get like a bit of a twinge and I'll be like, fuck, am I having a heart attack? Or, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it puts you on that fucking high alert, doesn't it? Like, I don't drink any
Yeah.
energy drinks anymore either.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely screwed with me. And it was to the point that I would be, I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive a car past 8 o'clock at night
Yeah.
without falling asleep.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, I sit down on the couch, I'm out, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter when. And it just, you think, you think like, oh, I'll slam another energy drink and I'm good, but that it always has that compounding effect, and that the half life of caffeine is so long that
Yeah.
you're still riding partially the caffeine you drank 6 hours ago, and then
Yeah,
you
man.
slam another, and then another.
And then your
It
fucking night
compounds.
sleep is fucked.
Yeah,
Like, that's it.
yeah, you're
Like,
not getting good rest.
yeah, you wake up feeling tired, even though you've had like fucking 9 hours sleep. It's fucking stupid.
Overall, it's just getting myself together.
Yeah, man. No, it's a fucking good thing. What's your plans with this shovel head?
Dude, I got, well, I'm gonna hardtail it. I
Yeah,
mean, right now it's on like struts. I just like
yeah, yeah.
welded up some struts real quick. But yeah, I want to hardtail it. I've got a flat bottom Sportster tank to put on it.
Cool.
I'm gonna put. I've got like a short sort of tough guy sissy bar square stock and a little rectangle tail light. Something real short. I won't be putting a long front end on it. I just want something like short, tough. It's already got a belt drive in the primary. So I'm going to run, I've got like the bearing support and the alternator cover and stuff. So I'll run an open primary, foot clutch, hand shift,
Sick.
and probably keep, it's got like this super weird, um, like 34 mil front end on it, but it's a wide glide conversion tree.
Right. Okay.
So it's like supposed to be in more narrow, but it's got these weird ass trees on it. So the front end kind of looks goofy to me, but I mean, it'll stay for now.
Yeah, man. So how did that bike come about? How did you find it?
So the green C10 that I had, I don't know if you were following me when I had it, but I had a green 71 Chevy
Yeah, I've seen
truck.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that truck I had built I built a 468 big block for it, and it was like just a hot rod
Yeah.
truck, and I traded that truck for a 2001 Softail, and it had huge apes. The red bike, it had like humongous ape hangers and saddlebags and shit, and we rode that bike a bunch for a summer pretty much, and then I traded that bike for the Shovelhead.
Okay,
It was
cool.
just one of those things. So like I've had a bunch of Ironheads, and I've had one Evo Sportster like engine that I acquired and never did anything with, and then a bunch of Jap bikes, and so I've never had an older big twin.
Yeah.
The Softail was a big twin, but I've never had a shovel or a pan or anything. So it was really, I was stoked to get my hands on a
Yeah,
shovel.
man.
Being, even though it's, I don't know, I think it's cool. I've never shied away from like the bad years of Harley. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's
It's
a
a
cool bike.
fucking,
And
it's a clean
honestly,
bike. It's clean. It's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's real low miles on the chassis. But the guy swears it was rebuilt, which I guess I have no reason to either doubt it or believe
Yeah,
him
yeah,
either.
yeah.
But so that bike was like, it was like over 2 hours away from my house, and I rode the Softail to him, and then traded him and
Oh,
rode the
sick.
Shovelhead home. Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
cool.
rain even.
Yeah,
So I was like, man, I hope you're not lying to me. He said it was a runner, so I'm like, I'm gonna drive it home, I guess.
yeah.
So,
Man,
so yeah, I mean,
I had a thing like that recently. I went and bought I needed just like a fucking reliable, comfy bike for certain things. So I went with the fucking Jap bike, and I got
yeah.
like this big, the M1800 intruders, the big fucking
Oh, sure.
crazy muscle things. Anyway, so I live on the Scottish borders, and I seen a guy up in the Scottish Highlands, which is like 5-6 hours away, was selling this bike, and it was like 2 grand cheaper than anyone else, and it was purple, and it had this like silver tribal shit on it, and I thought that must be why it's so cheap, because it looks disgusting. So I said to
Yeah.
him, I was like, look, I'm gonna come up and then I'm gonna ride it back, but I'm like 6 hours away, so you fucking tell me the truth if there's anything wrong with it. And he was like, nah, it's perfect, man, it's all good. So I trusted him. I went up, got the bike, got it home, and the fucking second gear blew, and it's like a 2 grand fucking job to change. And apparently, it's like a known problem. I just fucked up. I didn't research I just thought, yeah, cool bike. So I didn't look out on that one. I fucked up.
Yeah.
I managed to get some money back off him, but fuck. It was so perfect on the way back, and then the day after, the second gear just blows. It was
Yeah.
I'll never make that mistake again. So who's Copperfield Imaging?
That's my girlfriend.
Okay, cool. I thought so. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Her work is fucking awesome.
Yeah. She's really like a lot of what her and I collaborating when we first met and all the stuff that we were doing together is kind of what like took my Instagram to the next level.
Yeah.
As far as like my followers and things like that. And so, yeah, it's been solid, man. It's been
Yeah, man.
awesome having her in my life. So,
I've seen the thing on your Instagram recently, like the subscribe thing.
yeah, I thought, which I just activated that on my account thinking like I would at some point utilize it for like my diet and for my training more,
Yeah, yeah.
because the things that like, it's a weird thing kind of to even care about, I guess. But if I post something about my fitness, it's like a tank post. If I post something about the
Yeah.
chopper, it's cool.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah.
maybe I needed to sort of have two avenues for that. Whereas
Yeah,
like
man.
if people are really interested in like how I'm training, what I'm doing, what I'm eating, then we can go that route and then have the regular stuff on my Instagram.
Yeah, man. I know.
So
I've seen the comments like less gym stuff, more chop shit and stuff like that.
yeah,
But fuck
yeah,
them, you know.
yeah. No, it's kind of weird. It's like, damn, dude, I'm still like me, even if that's
Yeah,
cool. Like, I mean, I'm still a person who did that. So like, if you think that's cool, there's other shit
yeah,
about me too.
totally. It's crazy. And so,
But
what do you do for a living? How do you fund your fucking bikes? You know.
well, so I've been a tech. I work for a transmission shop
Oh,
here
cool.
local. So I just like service, pull them out, put new transmissions in, or rebuild them, that sort of thing.
Right. So, have you always done work like that? That's why you
No,
talk
not
about.
really.
Okay.
I've done a bunch of stuff. I mean, I built furniture for a few years, high end furniture and
Yeah.
cabinetry. Woodworking was like one of my earliest passions. So that was something that I got into like in 2011 or 12. I started working at a cabinet factory building furniture and stuff. So that was like a few years of my life dedicated to that. I was still riding and building motorcycles on the side, but that was a home thing.
Yeah.
And then being like, I've rode bicycles, dirt bikes, four wheelers, worked on stuff my whole life. And I mean, building choppers out of bicycles when I was 10, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
In this like little trailer court that I lived in, it was like,
Yeah.
you know, sticking forks on the wrong bike and putting different wheels and shit on them. So I kind of was like destined to be that. And a lot of, it's funny, a lot of us skateboarders that were like, we came up skating, we all kind of went towards bikes or
Yeah, man.
music.
Yeah.
But
So, did you have any
yeah,
like guidance with that from like when it came to like building shit and stuff like that, or were you just going for it?
yeah, I just went. My first bike I bought was a $300 Honda 1100 sitting on the side of the road that didn't work. So I just bought it, accumulated a handful of tools, and
Man, you
made
live
it
in the
work.
coolest place. Just all these bikes just on the side of the road.
Yeah, yeah. And it was funny when I bought that bike. Uh, I had just gotten out of jail from the '07 to 10 time frame, and I was going back and forth like walking myself to and from my buddy's house where I was living and my job, and this bike was on the side of the road, had a for sale sign. I go knock on the door, and it's a jailer from the local jail that I was
Oh
at,
shit.
and he was like, "Oh, cool, you're like trying to be straight. I'll
Yeah.
sell you this bike." And he wanted five, and he told me to take three, so I gave him $300.
Oh, that's
So
sick.
yeah, so that was cool. Um, yeah, and then just sort of cutting my teeth on that. It was fun messing with it. It felt very much like building model cars and messing with bicycles and doing all the shit that I was accustomed to doing younger,
Yeah.
except I could go 80 miles an hour on it anytime I
Yeah, sick.
wanted. So yeah. Um, so yeah, I went from that, and then I just went through this phase of like any bike I could get, mostly Jap bikes, but anything I could get my hands on, I was getting it. And I was tinkering with it, getting it running, selling it, trading it for this or that. So
Yeah, sick. Your bird
yeah,
just your girlfriend, sorry, has just got a cool jet bike, isn't she? Is it like a yellow one?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She got that was crazy too. I mean, they're kind of. I guess we are in sort of a cool place for bikes, but she's a waitress, and she was talking to some folks about my bike and riding with me on my chopper and shit. And some guy, I guess, overheard her talking about it and was like, "Hey, I know a guy who has one," and he's like wanting to get rid of it. And it was this freaking Honda 750 on
Sick.
an old Santee frame, and I mean, it's like chopper gold.
Yeah, yeah.
So we scored it. She ended up knowing the guy kind of like from high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like real cool about us paying on it a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
And then we finally picked it up, and we've been actually, when we brought it to my shop, we came back, we brought it, dropped it off, whatever. The first time that we came here to work on it, we fired it up. I mean, it ran. And
yeah, sick. That's fucking Jap bikes, though.
It's been, yeah, I know.
You pull them out of a fucking fire, and it's
like, yeah, and she doesn't have that same like experience that I do with, particularly with jack bikes. So, at first she was like, I don't know, is it going to work? Do we need to do this or that? I'm like, you don't get it yet, but like,
yeah,
we're going to put a battery in this thing and it's going to work.
yeah, man. I've just had my my Sportster. It just wouldn't start. There was fucking spark, there was fuel, there was everything. There was no reason that it wouldn't start. You know what I mean? Like I had my buddy round, and we were like just sat there staring at the bike for fucking half an hour. Like, what the fuck could it be? And it turned out that it was because I don't know. Yeah, obviously there. Do you have like shit fuel and good fuel, like gas? Yeah. So like here you've got E10, which is shit, and then E5, which is good. And it turned out that because when he had it and he was fixing it for me, he'd put E10 in it. That's why it wasn't running. So, you know what I mean? Like, we were like, smells kind of weird. Maybe that could be it, but surely it's not, because why would it be something so simple? Went to the fucking gas, got fucking this nice, amazing fucking E5 gas, and it fucking started straight away. Like, it's fucking bullshit. Where like a fucking Jap bike, you take it out of a fucking burning building, stick a fucking stick diesel in it and a fucking battery, and it'll start.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No shit. We have her gas tank was like rusty inside.
Yeah.
And so I put diesel fuel in it with a bunch of BBs, and we'll shake it up, and we're going to drain it. And I'm like, I told her the other day, I'm like, yeah, we can just leave it, the residual in there after we pour it all out. And she's like saying, you don't need to clean it out. It won't be bad for it. I'm like, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah. It just, they make so much sense. They're like, I do love Jap bikes, but like, I don't know what it is, man. I like the torture myself.
Yeah. I fought so much with this Ironhead that like last summer I was riding the Softail, and then I got the shovel. And so I was riding those a bunch because I was fighting a spark issue on the Ironhead. And I would like look at the coil, and I'm like, it looks fine. There's no cracks in it or whatever. I never tested it just because I guess it's my own fault, but I was like not checking it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I checked the plug wires. I put plugs in it. I checked the points. I'm like putting a battery in it, checking the carburetor, redoing the intake seals.
Yeah.
All the while, like, I finally broke down and bought a coil and pulled my coil off, and there's a huge crack under it. I'm like, fuck, dude.
This stuff is so simple.
Yeah. And I should have just looked there first, but I know better too. And it's one of those things that like, I just was like, no, the coil's good, man. The coil's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably, I changed the condenser, I changed the points, I changed all this shit, and it was the coil the whole time.
So where are you right now?
This is just my little shop. I've got like a little 30 by 30 building.
Oh, cool.
That I keep extra overflow stuff from home, but also my chopper and hers, and if I got to work on something.
So do you ever do like work on anyone else's bikes and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes. So my buddy Drew, he's got like a 2008 Sportster, and we'll be doing a bunch of stuff to it soon. Not like chopper stuff, but just I help him keep it together.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing like rocker box gaskets and simple stuff like that.
That's the thing with Harleys, isn't it? Like, again, like the difference between Jap bikes, you have to look after them.
Yeah.
It's fucking, it's not like, I feel like Jap bikes are just like plug and play. You know,
Yeah.
you just get to enjoy them. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, you got a baby Harleys, man.
Yeah, they definitely let you know if you are neglecting
Yeah,
your
yeah. If you're a
your
lazy
duty, I
cunt.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am like I'm fucking lazy, man. I don't even like cleaning my bike.
Yeah.
I'm not like a polisher, you know?
No, no, me either. And that's kind of like the charm of my Ironhead in particular
Yeah.
is like the tank. I've dropped it, I've wrecked it.
Yeah, man.
You know, it fell over on a trailer. We were trailering it to Fuel Cleveland last year,
Yeah.
and it fell over on the trailer in the middle of like Dayton on the interstate, and it was like just laying on the trailer sideways, and we're like pulling over on 5 lanes of traffic. It was
Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my bike looks sort of like, you would have just pulled it out of some dude's
Yeah, man.
barn that's been shut down for 30 years. So
But
I don't
it
clean it that
looks
much.
lived in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
man.
cozy.
But I mean, I think that's important. Like, yeah,
It's got the
I'm not
duct
really
tape
into.
seat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not really into show bikes.
Yeah,
I
yeah, me
appreciate
either.
them. I appreciate the work that goes in. Don't get me wrong, but like, I prefer a bike that
A little
is
character.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. So, I mean,
That was fun.
when it comes to shows, have you got any like certain shows you get to every year? Are you a
Um,
show
well, the
guy?
way things, there used to be a pretty cool show called Kentucky Kickdown.
Yeah,
And it's still big, but it's just really big now. And it used to be like they shut down a couple of blocks, and it was at a bar, and it
yeah,
was
man.
kind of cooler back then, I think. But I used to go to that one pretty frequent, or like 3 or 4 years in a row. Um, and then I haven't made it to like TMMR. Um, and then I guess they had Born Free at Texas this past
Yeah, man.
like a couple months ago or whatever. So,
Yeah,
or
that
a
looked
month
good.
ago. Yeah, I didn't make it to that. We went to Fuel Cleveland. I don't know, with the way that like my life was and stuff. I'm like right now at the point where I can start to make those plans and see the fruit of that. So
Yeah, man.
uh, I plan on at least taking the Ironhead and being a part of some of that stuff in the future.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I say this to every American guest, but it obviously it's so different there because you could ride like fucking 30 days straight and you're still in the States. Do you know what I mean? Like traveling for you guys
Yeah,
is totally fucking different to us. Like you can ride from the top to the bottom of the UK in one day. You know, it might take like 15, 16 hours, but you can do it in a day and you know, and that's
right.
it. So like how far do you generally go, you know? What's your biggest trip? What's
The biggest in one bite was definitely going to South Carolina. I've been basically to like 13 of the surrounding states
yeah,
around Indiana on this bike. But the biggest chunk at one time was I made it to South Carolina on the first night and the next morning.
holy shit.
So, and yeah, it was with my ex-wife. And so she was on the back of it, you know what I mean? And we were just
Fuck.
freaking, yeah, that was heavy
Super
for
wedgie.
her. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you got any plans to, you know, any trips or anything coming up? Anything?
Just going to be like Fuel again, probably make it to Fuel Cleveland.
Yeah.
There's a couple smaller things here local that like Sweet Leaf Garage does
Okay, cool.
in Kentucky. They do the
Yeah.
bike night thing, so I'd like to get down to that. As far as big shows, I don't know. I don't really know what's like coming up this summer because everything kind of already either happened or it's like
Yeah.
fall stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, fuel is like in the summer. TMMR is coming up, but it's just not in the cards this year for that.
Yeah.
And then obviously Mama Tried. happened.
Yeah, that's been, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So those
I
are,
ask because I plan to get over. I'm gonna get over once this
yeah,
year, but next year I want to get over for a few shows and
yeah,
do some riding, do some filming, film some content and shit. And
yeah, yeah.
uh,
There's a bunch. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot more out west. The
mm,
Prowl just happened at Brisbane,
yeah,
which is like looks cool. But that's in Arizona, so like I don't really know when
yeah,
I'll ever be able to get there. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is like a lot of the big stuff is further west
yeah.
by a good 20 hours away from me. So
So whereabouts
um,
Indiana then?
it's just like it's called the Midwest, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We're pretty far east to be,
Right. Okay. Cool.
to be the Midwest. We're between Illinois and Ohio,
Okay.
but
Cool.
it's
Yeah.
like
No, I know where you are. Yeah. If anybody wanted to find you on socials and stuff, how can they find you? How can they? What's your name on social media and
it's
stuff like that?
it's the Wild Bill 32, and it's that on um, like on Instagram and TikTok. Uh,
Sick.
but I don't really do. I just share pretty much the same stuff on both. So
Yeah, man.
TikTok is like weird. Um,
Yeah, it's fucking.
you know?
I seen who's the fucking guy? Is it like Gary V? I think guy. I can't remember. It's one of them guys, and he's like, if you're not fucking using TikTok right now, you're a fucking moron. It's all this, but so I understand that it probably is really good, business
Yeah,
wise, marketing wise, and stuff. I just can't bring myself to do it. I just
yeah.
can't. I
It's really
can't.
weird. The engagement is strange, and like the
Yeah,
types of. It almost seems like if you're not following some sort of like trend
trend.
or hype, that
Yeah,
that you're just gonna be a person doing TikToks, and like that's what
yeah,
mine. You know, Instagram is a really interesting thing because like essentially the content may be the same, but the vibe is different.
yeah. No,
And
I
so
agree.
TikTok is like the attention span is too small
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah,
for a lot.
totally. Yeah,
And it's great for the people that are really focusing on trying to like inspire people or
yeah,
like change, and coach and do that sort of
yeah,
thing. And it's great for that. But just a dude riding a motorcycle is like it's
yeah.
just
It's
not
it's
the right place.
totally. I think with Instagram, I've noticed like a massive shift, like with tattooing. For me, like for my job, tattooing and stuff, it kind of like Instagram's kind of died a death. Like it was really, I don't know, the algorithm's weird and there's a lot of
Yeah,
shit. But when it comes to bikes and fitness, it's fucking booming. Like,
yeah,
you get like 1,000, 2,000 likes on a fucking picture of your bike. And then I'll
yeah.
I'll slave like 10 hours for this tattoo and get like seven. You know,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it's weird. It's like, yeah, but my point being, like with bikes and it just doesn't seem to have. It's still going strong. I feel.
yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of like key players in that. I think Ryan at Chopper
Yeah,
Crash, and Death Trap, and those guys and FTW bikers. They
yeah,
keep that
man.
stuff sort of rolling, and
Yeah,
they're
totally.
huge accounts, and so
Yeah,
they
man.
do a big part of that.
No,
But it's
it's cool.
awesome for me thinking like rolling down to Kentucky or Tennessee or Ohio or whatever, going to Fuel Cleveland, and it's just cool that the amount of people that you can meet um, just through Instagram and like that. But then you meet them in person, and it's like, hey, you're Bill. Hey, you're
Totally.
Chris, or you're so and so,
Yeah,
and
man.
like,
And it
yeah, I
like,
follow your bike's that bike, and you're
yeah,
doing that shit.
and it removes
So
that like weirdness. You kind
yeah,
of, you know what I mean? It's like you've already been kind of pre-introduced. It's fucking, yeah, no, I love it.
yeah, yeah. So it's cool. It's social media, so it has like all of its pitfalls and all of its weird, you know, this is not my daily everyday
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
it is a big, huge part of my life, but it's not like, it's not sunshine and every day here. So
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's just natural, though, isn't it? Like everyone's you're probably not going to post you and your wife screaming at each other on a fucking
yeah,
a rainy
yeah,
Monday morning,
right,
or
right,
like your fucking bike in the rain, not doing what it's supposed to do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, but I think you're right. Like it does kind of it sets up for some people. I think it's quite troublesome, like because it sets like this weird kind of pretense, and people think, oh fuck, why am why is my life not perfect like that? You know what I
right.
mean?
That
So
expectation versus
yeah,
reality.
yeah, totally. But I think that I think it's just something we've just got to fucking deal with. It's here, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's here, and yeah, and Instagram has been crazy for me too. Like, uh, like meeting you, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, and doing this,
yeah,
just
totally.
these small like nuggets of time that are gonna be otherwise like would have never happened.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
So, and it's happened a bunch with different companies approaching me or me reaching out to certain people that like I had, didn't know that this dude lived down, two towns away, but like
yeah,
built shoppers. And now I know him. So
yeah. It's
yeah.
sick. So what are the companies that you work with?
So like Death Run, which is these people,
Yeah,
Death Run Supply. So they're pretty good people and like their product is great and they see fit to like hook me up, and
yeah,
so
sick.
I'm cool with that. And so like
Yeah,
I've promoted them or like done what I can to sort of try to promote them, and sometimes I get like who's even looking, you know what I mean? Like get
yeah,
down on it, like damn, who's even bothering to like look at my story and click this shit and like go look these people up or whatever. But I mean, at the same time, like a lot of it is like tattoo flash inspired,
yeah,
and it's part of this sort of culture. So I figure, if it's cool, if I think it's cool, somebody else is gonna think it's
yeah.
cool too.
Definitely.
So yeah, Death Run definitely has been a huge support for me. Um, Death Trap too, um, and Skeleton Good. Those folks um, have been cool. I used to do some like work for Trollco, which is like that blue collar, dirty hands, clean money.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So I was like an ambassador or whatever for them for a while, and they would like send me stuff, and then I'd put it on my
Yeah,
Instagram
man.
or whatever. But that, I mean, those things come and go. So that
Yeah,
was like
man.
a time.
I'm sure they'll continue to fucking go. Like you need that mullet back.
I know, dude.
Yeah,
It's one of those things I told Chelsea. I'm just gonna let it grow out again because
man.
I liked having long hair. I liked having a mullet, and then I cut it, and I like having short hair too. But I don't know. I'm at the point now where it's like I'm gonna shave my head or I'm gonna let it grow.
Man,
'Cause
by the time I was ready to grow myself a mullet, like there's no fucking hair anymore. You know
oh
what I mean? Like
shit,
it's fucking the fucking ship has sailed.
yeah, yeah. That mullet was cool, man, and that was like a huge part of the photographs and stuff that we were
Fucking
doing,
right.
and
Them fat
you know
fucking
what I mean.
mullet and the tassels.
Yeah, yeah. It was all kind of a whole vibe by itself.
Yeah. Sponsorships coming out of the fucking woodwork.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been looking into just doing more with that, like with trying to promote things and be more proactive in it. But it gets taxing, like spending a bunch of time on there too, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
taxing not only like for me or whatever mentally, but in a relationship setting, it
Yeah,
gets
definitely.
tough sometimes. So
It's hard because I think to really, really make like a real go of it, you really got to sell out. You really do have to, And so
Yeah.
for someone like yourself that obviously doesn't want to do that, you know what I mean? You want to stay fucking. It's hard, man. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that I get some perks of like having a decent Instagram.
Yeah.
So I get shit from people and
Yeah.
get to like promote stuff or whatever. But yeah, I definitely like getting a blue check or
Yeah.
whatever, like all of that shit and having like
Yeah.
all of that is a little bit like too much.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
wouldn't. So it's been weird. Like in the last year, I've gotten like 10,000 followers.
Yeah, man.
So I had like when Chelsea and I, or I guess it's been almost 2 years. When Chelsea and I first got together, I just had 5,000. And back then, that's all I was doing. I was putting a bunch of time into my Instagram and trying to like do get the right video and the right pictures and
Yeah.
shit. And I don't know. And I've gotten more followers since I stopped,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, like
But
for
Chelsea's
whatever
like
reason.
mad skills probably help as well.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
crazy with the camera and doing all that. That's what she did, before I knew her too.
Yeah.
So it's not something that she just curated with me. That's like her passion.
Yeah.
So when you see that behind the lens and then all the stuff she likes to do ties into what I like too, so it just worked really well.
That's sick. But I
Yeah.
I know what you're saying though about I I can relate because like with my tattoo page and stuff, I smashed it, I was like really trying and I would pay too much attention to it. And then with this thing, even though I had like a big break whilst I sorted out some stuff, but with this like the podcast Instagram, I mean it's still pretty small, but like the engagement and shit that I have with people, like the DMs every day, and like it's crazy. But I don't pay too much attention to it. I just post some shit, as and when if I think something looks cool or whatever. I think that's the way, man, and just kind
Yeah.
of like enjoy it rather than because I remember back in the day I would like post something and I'd be like, oh fuck, how many likes, how many, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was fucking weird. It was like another addiction.
Yeah. And I got to the point like deleting one that didn't do well
Yeah.
and leaving one
Yeah.
that did, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what am I even doing?
Totally, man.
So,
It's crazy. It's crazy how it does that to you though. Because it was like it genuinely affects you. Like,
yeah.
and it's only when you look back on it, you're like, holy fuck, what the fuck's wrong with me?
Yeah. And I'm like, coming from alcohol addiction and doing that, like I have a tendency towards that shit anyway. So
Yeah, totally.
that dopamine and that whole,
Yeah, man.
getting hooked on it, it's like, what's the next one? So
Yeah.
I've been I turned my notifications off. Like I put my phone on silent, and it makes a difference for me
Yeah,
anyway.
man. Definitely.
So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
it's like riding, like when you go for like a real long ride and that you can't check your phone, and like
Yeah.
I believe like for me personally that's a big thing, I'll have 6 hours where I literally cannot check the fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, because otherwise it's fucking it's always there.
It adds to that break from reality. You go freaking blast down the highway for
Yeah, totally.
forever and zone out.
But then you look at your phone and there's like a million fucking notifications and
Yeah. Yeah.
if you've been locked up, what's your like travel situation like? Can you fly?
Yeah. So right now, I'm still sort of dealing with the cleanup of that.
Yeah.
So like right now I basically owe some money. But anyways, once they get done extorting me for the amount of money they want, then I'll be free to go.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm like still on paper. But yeah, after that, I think like I'm a felon or whatever, so I don't know about a passport situation. But as far as like interstate wise, it wouldn't be a big deal to go anywhere.
Yeah, but like coming over here or Europe,
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
kind of fucked up.
I think because like what I've been involved with wasn't like violent or like
Yeah,
crazy shit
yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm cool because there's like
Okay, cool.
certain guidelines on how to get a passport
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
you can't have like a murder charge and shit
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
get a
yeah,
passport. But I think because like my stuff isn't like that, that I'm cool with it. I
yeah.
just got to get off paper.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm planning this run from England to Africa.
Whoa,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. But it's like
Dang.
it's not like fucking the Congo, Africa. It's like it's Morocco. So it's like northern Africa, you know. But it's
Yeah.
like what is it? A day and 9 hours. So like it's like it's like fucking 30, 35 hours, you know. Obviously we
Yeah.
wouldn't do it in one hit, but it would be a fucking cool ride, you know. Like going
Yeah.
through France and then Spain and then on to Africa. It'd be fucking really cool.
Yeah.
But
That'd be wild.
I'm thinking like next year or the year after. But it'd be cool to get some like to get people over, you know, because we can sort
Yeah, for
bikes
sure.
and yeah.
There's one here called the EDR.
Yeah, I really want to do that.
That's been like since the Iron Horse magazine or whatever was
Yeah.
like I mean, it's been EDR has been like a dream, but I don't know. It starts so far over. It'd be a week of me getting there just to do
Yeah.
the run and then a week back.
But
So
is it fucking Lane Splitters Boulevard, the YouTube channel
yeah,
that they film themselves doing that run, the EDR. Sorry, and there's guys that fucking ride down from Canada. You
yeah,
know, so they'll spend like 4 days like
right.
riding. You know, it's fucking crazy, and then they do the run.
Yeah, and the run is crazy by itself.
Yeah, man.
Between
Is there
yeah,
anything you want to put out there? Anything you want to?
man, just I don't know, just ride the shit that you like
Yeah,
because
man.
like even talking to my girl is like she's like worried in some ways sometimes about the
Yeah,
fact that she has a Honda and it's not a Harley.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
fuck, man, it's still rowdy as hell.
yeah. Exactly.
And and
Yeah,
like if you put your turn on it and you make it yours and
yeah, man.
that's the biggest thing. Like if people can tell that you did that and you didn't do that because you think someone will like it, you just did it because you like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
dude, it's cool, man, because the bike scene itself like went that way for a while where people were just trying to chase what someone else would think is cool.
Like it's like
And
following the trend, like TikTok. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
totally.
exactly. And so just if you think it's gonna be cool and look cool, especially in choppers, like why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you build a sissy bar out of whatever the hell you want to build it out
Totally.
of? And if it works, cool. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't, if it breaks or whatever, like
Build another one.
that's what you do. Figure
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So I would just say, I would just put out there, man, fucking forget anybody that doesn't like what you're doing because if you like it, then that's it.
Yeah,
That's your
man.
thing.
I like that. No, that's true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It's been a blast.
We'll speak again soon.
Rise, jumpers will die.